everybody, Kirsten here, and guess what today is? It's Game of Thrones Day. I'm super excited about it. But it is also Sunday, so it is time for me to do an author spotlight for the month. This month I decided to do an author spotlight on Claire Contreras. She is a new adult author. Her books span different parts of new adult, so she does have her typical romance new adult, and then she does have her thriller new adult series that I absolutely loved. She contacted me to do a review for one of her books, and I ended up loving it so much that I purchased the rest of her books and decided to do not just a review for one of her books, but to go ahead and talk about all of the books. I love new adult. I think that's very apparent by my channel and by all of the reviews I have on Goodreads and by my Tumblr. It's one of my favorite genres, so I'm always super excited when I find an author that I absolutely love. I read her Darkness series. There's 2 books, so I'll go ahead and talk about those really quickly. The first book in the series is There's No Light in Darkness, and it is a bit of a thriller, so there's a lot of crazy things that happen that I don't normally read about in new adult, so I was really excited that there was a new adult book that had these elements to it. The main protagonist, when you meet her, she's like this tiny little girl, and she is stumbling into her mother being murdered and her father being taken away, and in the process she's being kidnapped along with another little boy that she always used to play with, and they're being put into separate homes. When you flash forward to the book, it's her in college when she's in law school and navigating this thing that she's going through, finding out about who kidnapped her, finding about her mother's murder, and all of the aspects that go along with it. The little boy does make an appearance as an adult as well, so you get to catch up with both of those characters. This story doesn't involve a girl meeting a guy and falling for each other. It's like already an established relationship that grows into more, so it does have a lot of that push and pull that comes along with falling in love with your best friend and kind of moving into that relationship aspect with all of these crazy, insane things that are going on. The first book, the reason why I purchased the second book in the series is because the first book in the series ends in a crazy cliffhanger, and I was like, what? I need to know what happened, so I went and purchased the other book, and while I was there I just went ahead and got the rest of them. The second book in the series is Darkness Before Dawn, and it is kind of a nice little wrap up of everything that happened in the first book. So the cliffhanger extends into the beginning of the first book, and then it's her going back to making things normal in her life and the relationships that she cultivates after all of these insane things happen to her. And I can promise you, if I went through all of the things that she goes through in this book, I'd probably be locked away forever because it was intense. The next series that she has is the Hearts series. So this series does follow a group of friends. Each book is a different couple, but they can be read as standalones. There's not much that ties them into each other except for the fact that they all know each other. So, I mean, it isn't necessary to read the first book in the series before you read the second, and so on and so forth. The first book in the series, it's the Heart series, is called Kaleidoscope Hearts. This book is so cute. I don't have the cover up here because it's on my other device, but so Kaleidoscope Hearts follows a couple, Estelle and Oliver, and it is a second chance romance. So there's something that happens between them when they're younger. She goes away, comes back, and then they reignite everything that happens. And the conflict there is Oliver is Estelle's older brother's best friend. So there's conflict, it goes back and forth between that, but it's a really cute story, and I had all the feels while I was reading it. The second book in the series is Paper Hearts. This was my favorite of the series. I absolutely loved it. So it's got a cute cover too. This one follows Estelle's best friend Mia and her childhood sweetheart Jensen. This is also a second chance romance kind of a thing. And this one, Mia and Jensen break up after he goes to college and something tears them apart and she cannot forgive him for it. So flash forward 5 years later, she gets a job at the same magazine that he happens to freelance write at, and there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of tension. You do see Oliver and Estelle from the first book quite often, and because Oliver is Jensen's best friend and Estelle is Mia's best friend, so there's that nice little tie-in. The third book in the series is Elastic Hearts. This follows another one of the friends in the group. His name's Victor. He is Estelle's older brother. So you finally catch back up with Victor in this third book. And he is a divorce attorney, so this is more of a romance where there is a client privilege going on and lines get muddled in that way. Love interest in this book is his partner's daughter. So of course, like, it just kind of works out that way. But I really liked this one as well. This one isn't as much of a second chance romance as more of a professional setting that turns into romance, which I really enjoy those kinds of books, which is why I like the Beautiful Bastard books so much. That series, just so many feels. Like, I absolutely loved it. It's one of my new adult favorite series. She does have another book that is sitting that I'm currently reading. It's called Catch Me, and that one's super good as well. Overall, this author is now going to be one of my must-buy authors. I really enjoy her books, her pacing, the way things kind of unfold. I am not a huge fan of books where the romance is already established, but in this case it worked because they aren't already a couple in the beginning of the book, and it's kind of nice getting all of those flashback bits in each of the books that kind of explain where they are now and why they are going through what they're going through. And every single one of her books does have that established relationship before going into it. So yeah, if you are a huge fan of new adult and romance novels, I would definitely pick this up. If you aren't a huge fan of thrillers, this would be a good place for you to start. So if you are interested in reading a thriller but you still are kind of on the fence, it's not something that you really like, I would definitely start out with her Darkness series, because although it does have that thriller element to it, it is very much a romance novel. And it kind of reminds me of K.A. Tucker, how K.A. Tucker has those thriller new adult books. It's kind of on the same lines of that. So I really did enjoy it and had a good time reading these books. I did kind of finish them all in a week. I got them last week, but I was reading another series, and so I picked these up and I just bust them out one right after the other because I really enjoyed them and they just kind of kept me going the whole way. Everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.